Good people, what is going on? Another episode of the All Go Podcast. I'm your host, Desmond. Thank you for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. Got a couple things wanna get into. One of them being Anthony Richardson and his position in the NFL, and then also I think the NFL needs to make some changes. But before we get into it, hit the link in the description to visit PLR Epic to grab 104 ebooks, typically for $8. But if you use code AGP, All Go Podcast, just those three letters, you get 50% off. So you get 104 ebooks for $4. Purchase them, resell them, and keep 100% of the profits. Hit the link in the description and get yours today. So, next year, around January, February, there's going to be talking heads and pundits that get on TV, and they're going to tell us, this quarterback is the best quarterback in this draft. This quarterback is the second best quarterback in this draft. This guy is so on and so forth. He's not a first-round talent. He is a second-round talent. So on and so forth. And all they are doing is guessing. Do not let, and I made a note to say bozos, but that was, I don't want to be mean to people. But don't let these people don't be confused. There's no exact science to this. They are guessing who they think is just going to be really good. Because the NFL is truly just guessing with this. They are guessing. Because what they told you was Anthony Richardson, there were some people saying Anthony Richardson should have been the number one draft pick because of his traits. That's what people were saying after 13 starts, maybe 300 pass attempts in college. That's what they were telling us. He should be, the number one. I wouldn't be surprised if he was the number one pick. He was drafted number 4, tapping out of games. Shocker. He completes about half of his throws, which is the exact same thing he did in college. And college, it's easier to complete passes than it is the NFL. You see pretty consistently guys are completing 72% of their passes in college. Pros, it goes down a bit, 68, 69, 66 is good depending on if you're aggressive throwing the ball down the field. But it's easier to complete passes in college. And Anthony Richardson wasn't great at doing it then. And it's so interesting as well because all of those people who still said all that stuff are backpedaling and in hindsight, had we really looked at this play, this actually was a negative, but because he was so athletic, he turned it into a positive, but we should have looked at it in a negative light, but we didn't. We looked at it. You guys are guessing. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So don't think that these people know this stuff for sure, or that they know anything more than you. They are guessing. And once again, my position on quarterbacks in the NFL is it matters where you go. It matters who your coaching staff is and their development. But what I'll also say is I would say 90% of the NFL teams cannot develop a quarterback. They can't. They will tell you that they can, but they can't. And truly, they don't want to either, because Mike Tomlin had a couple quotes, but he was on the pivot. I think this was last year, but essentially what they'll tell you is the guy doesn't have traits, can't learn, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. That's all coaching stuff. That is coaching. Now, to go back to Anthony Richardson, now if you're telling me that his accuracy is an issue, so on and so forth, that's also coaching. That's footwork. That's delivery. That's making sure you're on the correct plane, right? There's a lot to it, but it's all coaching. And the Indianapolis Colts, for as great as I think Shane Steichen is as a offensive mind. I'm not going to say head coach because we don't know that yet. But that is your job. And clearly, you guys didn't do a great job there because, number one, anybody with eyes could see Anthony Richardson needs reps. That is what he needs, reps and reps and reps. Now, he got injured, so that kind of hurts you with the reps. I also made a video that he was out for OTAs with the shoulder injury. Like, that's not good. And then they signed Daniel Jones, and he's making a lot of money for a backup quarterback. Also not good. Anthony Richardson, preseason, not reading things the way you're supposed to, get smoked, hurt your finger. He ended up being fine, but once again, not good. It is a coaching problem, but it also is this, the thing is nowadays, any quarterback who is big and can throw it far, they're like, oh, this is Josh Allen. The comp is Josh Allen. Like, why are the only comps that we give like the best quarterbacks in the NFL today? What, like, why is it the comp Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, John Elway, Andrew Luck? Like, everybody can't be those guys. Everyone's not going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. So why is that the comp? Because what it does is now it tells these talent evaluators, oh, we should draft him. As long as we coach him up, he'll be Josh Allen. It's like, no. Some guys are going to be Taysom Hill at quarterback. Some are. But we treat it as if, well, no, he's going to be the comp. And I just don't understand it. And we do the same thing with running backs. We do the same thing with receivers. Like, that's not how this goes. That's not how this works. But, Anthony Richardson's on the bench. Shane Steichen basically is like, unless Daniel Jones is injured, seemingly, that's the only way he's going to get on the field. Just kind of is what it is. But also wanted to talk about the NFL. One thing that I need to change, I think they need to change, and it's interesting because we are now in the whole cut down the roster time frame of the year, and the NFL needs to expand the active rosters. And the reason I say that is, number one, I believe when we got the 53-man roster, what that was the cutoff was like in 93. At that time, it was a 16-game season. As we know, we've already added another game, but along with the bye week, it's another 2 weeks of the season. And it sounds like the NFL pretty soon wants to move it to 18 games. And if that's the case, so before we even get there, right, it's a 17-game season now. It used to be 16. There's an additional playoff team now for both conferences. So whereas 6 used to make the playoffs, now it's 7, right? And only the 1 seed gets the bye week. So whereas in 5 years ago, if you were the 2 seed, you had a bye. Well, now the 2 seed has to play. So that's an additional game there. And then also, like I said, the NFL is talking about going to 18 games, which it's inevitable. They're going to go to 18 games. And I just think we need to do it for, number one, just more bodies. Now we already have made some changes with the whole emergency quarterback rule where he's not an active roster guy, but it's a third quarterback that would dress and warm up just in case 2 guys get hurt. Basically what happened with Brock Purdy and the 49ers a couple years ago. He got hurt. Josh Johnson came in. He got a concussion, but Brock had to go back in because they didn't have anyone else. So I just think, and I don't think you need to go crazy. Could you make it 60? 60 guys. But I do think that they need to up the active roster. I also think you need to increase the practice squad guys as well. Because, like I said, it's still, they are practicing longer as far as the season goes. It's an extra week or two. And I just think as the NFL talks about this whole, safety thing and, they just say it. It's lip service. They don't actually mean that they want these guys to be safer. But that would be a good gesture as far as the lip service goes, would be to increase the roster. I think that'd be like, 10%? Just a little bit over 10%, 11, 12%. go from 53 to 60. But I think that would just be something that would just help with wear and tear. The salary cap just continues to go up. So you got the money. It would be fine. I'm not saying go crazy. And, we got a 65-man active roster, but I think 60 is reasonable. Like I said, 1993 is when we moved to 53-man, and it's been that since then. But we've already extended the season 2 more weeks because you got a bye week in there as well. And pretty soon we're going to be extending it another week. So, a few more extra bodies I think would be helpful for everybody. So that is it for me. Hey, if you made it this far, go ahead and like and subscribe. Okay, I think we're at about 180 subscribers. Trying to get to 200, and then trying to get to 250 and 1,000 and 1,000,000 and all that. So go ahead and subscribe, like, get the thumbs up. Appreciate it. Peace.